All right, hello, this is Mr. Weary for Theater, Intro to Theater, and this is Stage Geography Part 1. In this video, we will be covering the basic stage directions of the theater stage, as well as some terminology that accompanies that terminology. You should have your worksheet in front of you, because as I go, you will be writing all the answers down as we go. I will be giving you every answer throughout this video. All you have to do is write the correct answers into the spots. And so you're ready then to go out into the theater and find these locations for yourself. Okay, so again, we're going to be talking about all the directions and names and things related to the stage. All right, so our first slide, you might say, hey, Mr. Weary, it looks upside down. Why? Well, the answer is because this is from the actor's point of view. When you are on stage, everything we're going to cover today is from the point of view of the person who's talking. So if you're the audience, it'll be a different point of view. If you're an actor, it's from a different point of view. So this is from the actor's point of view. Center stage, stage right, stage left, upstage, downstage, etc. All of that stuff is backwards or upside down when you're the actor, because that's the way you're facing. You're facing the audience. So for purposes of reading, let's go ahead and flip that. Make it a little easier. Okay? So as you can see, we have our center stage, and then we have downstage, upstage, stage right, stage left, our proscenium line, which we're going to cover in part 2, and our apron, which we'll cover in part 2. So let's start off with the easiest one, the center stage. What do you think the definition for center stage is? Don't overthink it. Don't make it too complicated. It is simply the perfect center of stage. Perfect center of stage. Easy, right? This is not rocket science, guys. This is actually very simple. Okay? So if that's center stage, if I go to my right as an actor, and all these pictures, by the way, are pictures taken from our theater point of view, okay? As if the actor were standing on stage. So what do you think the definition for this is? If you said area of the stage on the right, from the actor's point of view, well, then you're right on. That was perfect. Okay? Again, everything's from the actor's point of view. Area of the stage on the right from the actor's point of view. So that means if I'm on stage and I'm an actor and I move to my right, which I raise my right hand, and that it looks like my left hand because it's mirrored, hi, but right hand, and I move to my right, well then there you go. I'm now moving stage right. Stage left, you got it. Super easy, guys. Area of the stage on the left from the actor's point of view. Okay? Make sure that on the worksheet you write the definition as is so that it's easy to read and be able to understand, okay? Well then what about this area? This isn't part of the stage, but it's part of the theater. And the area where the audience gathers before and after performances, during breaks, that part is called a what? Anybody take a second? If you have a partner, turn to your partner and tell them. And if you said lobby, then you would be right. Okay? Now for our school, most theaters have their own lobby. It's like their own area where you go and wait. For our school, we don't have one of those. So this is just simply the front hallway in front of our theater. Out beyond the left there, you'll see our common area where we do all our eating and our social gathering and all that kind of stuff. Another term you'll need to know is the catwalks. What are the catwalks, you might ask? Well, the catwalks are a narrow walkway or an open bridge used for holding and setting lights and more, okay, for our theater. So this is a restricted area of our theater. You're only allowed up there if you have permission by me to be up there working. And we mostly put up lights up there, but we've known to put banners and other things. And it's above us. So if you're standing in the theater and you look up, that's where the catwalks are. So why do you think it's called upstage, downstage? Okay, turn to your partner and talk to him for a second. Why is it called upstage, downstage? That's kind of silly, right? I mean, stage right, stage left makes sense. But up and down, up is above us, down is below us. So why is it called upstage, downstage? Well, the answer is because they used to build the stages called rake stage, okay? And a rake stage is a slanted stage where upstage is actually higher than downstage. This started in the medieval times between 500 and to 1500 AD, and they would build the stage on a rake because the audience was flat. right? So the stage was on this level, raked level. And so the actor, if you moved further away from the audience, you actually went higher. If you got closer to the audience, you went lower. And that's why they call it upstage and downstage, because at one point in time, we were literally going up and going down. All right, so if that's true, then the area that's furthest away from the audience, and this is a side picture of a stage, the audience is over here to the right. I'll do my clicker here, over here to the right. That's where the audience would be, right? So then what would this area be called? If this was on a rake and the actor was climbing up, what would that be called? If you said upstage, then you're correct. Okay, so if that's upstage, then what would the area closest to the audience be called? And if you said downstage, well then, perfect points for you because that is correct. Okay, another key term that we need to know is the booth. Sometimes it's called tech booth, sometimes it's called technician's booth. Also known names of it is light booth, sound booth. As long as you have booth in the word, you're pretty much right on. Okay? Which one of these are a couple of our big expensive pieces of equipment for our theater here. Which of these do you think is the light board, the one that controls the light settings? If you said the top right or the top left, then you would be right. Okay, top left, right. Okay, so yeah, the light board's up there on the top left, which means by default then that the soundboard is the one on the bottom right. Correct? Okay. And the last thing I want to cover in part one here is the follow spot. So a follow spot is any kind of spotlight you use to highlight an actor on stage. The light may or may not be attached to a light board. What that means is that it may or may not be computerized. Okay? Most follow spots, especially in the older times, were all just man or person handled, and there somebody would move them around and follow the person on stage. That's the way ours are in our theater as well. But nowadays with technology, you actually have lights that can be programmed to go in a certain pattern on stage and follow the actor. The pro is it hits its spot every single time. It never misses. The con is if the actor doesn't stay in their light, well, then there's nothing you can do. The actor goes dark. So there's pros and cons to both. And that concludes part one of stage geography.